Hello again, it's me. Um, Working on a little project tonight, so probably won't be any VR videos or any kind of gaming videos tonight. I am doing a hardware upgrade, and basically what got all this started was, as a lot of people know, um, AMD has just recently released the latest generation of their Ryzen processors, um, the um, uh, the 7000 series. So there's a regular 7000 and a 7000X series. Um, X is a little more powerful than the regular. It's a great series of chips, but I was doing a little research, and right now I'm running a Ryzen 9 3900X. I've had that chip for a little while. Probably I'm guessing about a year and a half I've been running this chip, and so I got to thinking, is it time to upgrade that chip? I did a little research, and it's looking like the performance increase that I'd be looking at by going from a 3900X to a 7900X is not near as much as you would think it would be. Like, what I'm seeing is like 25%, something like that. So, so that got me thinking about possibly going to water cooling to get that kind of increase, rather than spending, um, as a lot of you also know, the new 7000 series is a whole new CPU socket. It's so that means a new motherboard and new memory, because it's using DDR5 instead of DDR4. Um, Although I think there are some that might be using DDR4, and maybe that's just the Intel stuff. I can't remember. It's hard to keep all this stuff straight. In any case, if I were to upgrade to the new processor, I mean, why use the old memory? Might as well go all the way with faster memory. I think it's like 4,000 is the minimum or something like that. So that got me thinking, you know, when it's all said and done, that's probably going to be at least $500 or $600 spent on new motherboard, new processor, and new memory. If not more, because 7900X is probably going to be $500 or $600 by itself. Um, and I think to go to a 5900X is probably going to be like $400. So, um, so I'm thinking to get the to get the increase that I'd be looking for. I'd probably be better served until there is a chip that's going to give me a better increase. Um, I think I'd rather upgrade when I'm looking at like 40 or 50% increase in performance. I think would be a better upgrade than to try to shoot for like 23 or 25%, which is nothing to shake a stick at. If I was looking to if I was already looking to buy new computer hardware, sure, I'd buy a 7900X and the whole shebang. But I don't have any reason. This system as it is right now, I got 32 gigs of RAM. It runs XMP profile 3200. Just regular 2166. And 32 gigs of RAM of that, and I've had GeForce RTX 3070 Ti video card for a little while. It's fast enough for pretty much everything I want to do. I know a lot of people are getting the 4000 series cards, and to be honest with you, I spent a fortune on this card because I got it during the graphics card, the crunch, when you couldn't get the graphics cards and they were astronomical, and we pretty much I had to I had to use a special app on my phone to even find this card. It would give me alerts whenever, like Newegg and Amazon and everybody would get these cards in stock. So I'm probably going to hold on to this one for a while. And the only thing I don't like about it is it only has 8 gigs of video RAM, but I'm not having any trouble running anything that I play. And I do a lot of VR, and about the only thing I would probably want more memory than that for is maybe Skyrim to run some like crazy maybe 4K texture mods or something. But other than that, that card does everything I want to do. Yeah, so the next logical step for me is get better cooling. So I went out and actually found this at Best Buy. And I don't go to Best Buy very much. It had actually been a while. So Best Buy used to be the place where you would it really, at one time Best Buy didn't really have much more than you would find in a Walmart. It would just have more of that kind of stuff. Things have changed at Best Buy, and their prices have gotten better too. So this is what I ended up getting. H100i Elite LCD from Corsair. It's an all-in-one cooling system. It's 240 millimeter. And I'm going to be installing this in my existing case. And one of the reasons why I decided to do this video is because I had originally done some research on this specific cooler, installing it in this type of case. And the type of case I have is a Fractal design. It's a Focus G. And most of the information that I came across was questions asked on motherboards. Will this fit this case? Will this specific cooler fit this case? And the answers that I kept coming across were, yeah, they will, but you probably won't be able to mount it on the top. You'll probably have to mount it on the front. Well, I actually attempted the install last night, and I'm actually going to redo the install for this video because I want to show that the best way, and really the only way without modding this case, because I can install this on the top of this case without modding this case, and it fits perfect. The only thing is, if you have an optical drive, you're not going to be able to use it. You're going to have to remove it. And I hope that you kept your delete. I think they call them. I don't know if they're delete panels. I can't remember what the name of these are, but basically the spacers that come with the case. I've already removed the front of the case. So this is the front of the case. You see all my case badges and everything. And I might as well just put these back in. So I had a DVD burner in there, and I have removed the DVD burner. I had actually planned on doing that anyway because I don't know about you guys, but I can't remember the last time I either read or burned a DVD. I never do it. So I bought an external interface, and it's basically for like if you want to try to rescue data off of a hard drive after it's been pulled out of a PC kind of deal. It's got the SATA port, the power port. It's got an external power adapter and all that good stuff. Yeah, see, I got these back in. Yeah, because yeah, that's how it's going back together. yeah, I ended up getting one of those things, and I'm gonna keep the burner drive. They have external drives that you can buy, and you can get them at. They had them at Best Buy for like $35. But I mean, I pretty much I already needed something like this. That external adapter. It's got a USB 3.0 plug that you just plug into the computer, and you can hook a hard drive or a DVD burner. I could probably do it with a Blu-ray burner if I had that. Pretty much anything that's got the SATA, the regular hard drive SATA plug, and the power SATA power connector. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. I've got it out of the case already, and so yeah, I think hey, why not? Let's get started. I'll show you guys what I've got done so far. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys what I got here. So it's not quite like it would be if you were just unboxing it, because I have done a partial install. Well, I've pretty much installed all the hardware already one time, and it went pretty well. So this is my PC. This is my PC. And this is it's an ASRock. Is that pronounced right? ASRock, or is it ASRock? I just call it ASRock. Whatever. ASRock B550M Pro 4 is the board that I'm using. It's a micro ATX board. It's got 2 PCI Express. This is it looks like 2 PCI Express X16 slots. That is actually not the case. X16, X4, and then an X1. The problem is, I've really only got one usable. I kind of wish ASRock had made this one the X16, or made them both X16, because let's check this out. If I install this card, and you can see that's why I've got this here too. This thing is humongous, and it covers all the other SATA slots, or PCI Express slots, excuse me. So they are essentially not usable, but that's okay. About the only thing I would like to do is turn the light up a little bit. The only thing I'd really like to do is I've got a 5-port USB 3.1 card that would work real good right there. Yeah, because you can always use more USB ports. But I think what I'm probably going to do, I'm very likely going to get a front panel 5 1/4 part, kind of like where'd it go? This is one that I used to use that's really old, as you can see, because it's really, I think these ports might do USB 2.0. It's actually got a FireWire port. I'll show you how old it was. I really only used it because you had to have 2 ports to plug into on the motherboard to use this thing, because it has 2 cards that you interface with. That's one of my cables. I usually like to, there's one with that prism cooler that I have. You know what it's called? This guy right here. This thing was pretty awesome. Probably seen it in other videos. There is a USB cable, internal cable that plugs into the motherboard that allows you to change the RGB lighting. So taking that sucker out of there actually frees up one of those ports. But so I've got 3 total, and there is actually, this is what's pretty cool. Corsair was nice enough to put a like 2-in-1 plug for the USB. So I'm gonna end up with like 2 free ports of those. But long story short, it's a little late for that now, right? I'm gonna look for something like this, and if you guys care to, anybody that's watching this knows of, can recommend a modern version, I would really like. The card reader's a nice feature. I may end up just getting an external device that does that I can just plug into the PC. So that's not a big deal. But if it's got that, that's a bonus. I mostly, the case has the audio ports, so I'm not worried about that. It's got that already. I mostly want USB ports more than anything. So if I can get those, the USB 3 Type A ports. Is that Type A? Yeah, Type A. If it's got the Type A, that would be great. If it's got Type C, yeah, I would love to get Type C ports on the front too. So if anybody could recommend one of those for me, I'm gonna probably be looking for some, but yeah, that would be great. So so I don't know how well you guys can. It's a little bright in it. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna get started. All right, so I'm sure anybody that's bought one of these, and I'm assuming that if you're watching this video, you probably bought one of these. You probably bought one of these, the Corsair H100i Elite LCD. So you're probably looking to for maybe some. Well, my main goal was just to show that this cooler would fit just fine in the inside upper part of this case. And but if you're looking for some guidance on how to install this, I'd be happy to put some of that in here too. So with that said, let's get started. Now, if you watch the Corsair video, the one that's on their website for installing this, to me, I don't know if that video works best for a specific application. Sorry, I was just taking some alcohol and taking off the thermal paste. I'm going to reapply it. This water block actually has on the bottom side, it's got a nice piece of copper on the bottom, as it should. And you can't see it now because I've removed it, but there's actually a nice square of some pretty good quality. Basically, like, I'm sure it's something similar to some type of Arctic silver. I've removed all that because I've put it on, removed it a couple times, and it's probably best that I just reapply. So that's what I'm going to be doing on this. Not a big deal. It's not going to change this video that much. But if you watch the video, to me, they do things a little bit out of order. The first thing I would do, go ahead and plan on mounting this up here. The first thing you should do is mount your fans on your radiator. These are the fans that come in the box with the with the system. They're RGB fans. Go ahead and mount them. There are mount holes on both sides of this, so you know it's pretty flexible. If you wanted to mount them on the other side for some reason, I can't think of. I'm sure there's something. There's some application out there for it, but not in this case. So what I'm doing is, what I did was mounted the fans. This is going to go into this case, this orientation. This is the front, this is the back of the case. These are where the hoses go on this end, and you want the fan cables. And this is what I'm going to do. You guys are welcome to do this the way you want to, with the particular application that you're going with. But I am going to pretty much run the cables. I'm trying to go for a clean look. I'm going to run these cables probably out through one of these holes in the case and bring them back out, and I'm gonna mount the fan controller down, probably down in this area, or maybe up under the drives here. So hadn't quite decided on that yet, but I'll be doing it on the video, so you guys will see it as it pretty much develops. Getting this sucker in here, it's a little bit tight, especially with the rear fan installed, but it can be done, and I did it. So you pretty much just got to work it in there, and just make sure you don't do it in such a way that you damage anything. So just as you can see, it's not bad. Just raise your hoses back a little bit. They're pretty flexible, and boom. And what's nice is you can pretty much let it sit there and get ready to put your screws in. You know what? I'm skipping a step. But I mean, you can see that this goes in and out pretty easy. So, yeah. We forgot. It's a little bit tougher getting it out and getting it in, but it's not bad. Not bad. Just don't put too much force up here, because I'm sure you will end up breaking something if you do. But you got a little bit of room up over the fan in the rear. So, which I think you can go with a bigger fan. No, you can't. I'm sorry. That's one of the case screw holes. I was thinking maybe you could go with a bigger size fan, but there's not room for a bigger size fan. So the size that fits here, I think it's a 120. Yeah, you can get this. You got enough clearance over it. The first thing we need to do, and I'm gonna make a note real quick, is your memory modules. I think in the video on the Corsair website, I think they actually took these out during the installation, on their particular installation, and I'm seeing, just in my opinion, I think it'd be a pain to try to put these memory modules back in with this radiator installed. So I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't take those out. I would leave them in. They didn't cause me any kind of problems with them left in there. Now, with that said, I've got just your standard memory modules. There's no heat spreaders or anything like that. So, you know, they're not big, crazy, big honking memory modules. They're just your regular ones. So I'm gonna get my favorite tool here. This is my favorite tool. I actually work as a service tech for a living, not just on computers, but I work on machines, and this is my favorite tool. They sell it at Walmart. It's about 80 something dollars, I think. It's got wire strippers, needle nose pliers, of course. You got your blade if you need it, and best of all, screwdriver. What I like about this, look at the shape of it. Means that you can turn it and you don't have to do any odd twists. It's centered. So and it uses different bits. So you can store a flathead bit or change it out, store your other bit in there. I actually just recently lost my Phillips head bit, and come to find out, I had a set of cobalt bits from I think that's Lowe's brand, and it had that same hex shape and size, so I found an easy replacement. Sorry, I'm chatty. Anyway, next thing I would do, and this is what you want to do before trying to put that radiator in there. You want to take, and granted, this is an AM4 install. This is a socket AM4 install. What we're going to be doing is taking this piece off, and the back plate is going to stay. This back plate is going to be reused with the water block. My understanding is with an Intel setup, that back plate has to be replaced with the one that comes in the box. So be mindful of that if you're watching this video and you're doing an Intel setup instead of a Ryzen, AM4. So all right, so we're going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to leave the chip there because I think it'll be all right. My advice to do this, and they don't mention this in the Corsair video, but I just kind of figured that out real quick. I would do each one of these individually. Do not take them both off at the same time, because what's going to happen is if you remove that one and that one, that back plate's just going to fall off. So if you just remove one at a time, I'll show you. Just unscrew screws. There's one, and there's the other. Now in your kit, you've actually got you've got bags that I think one says Intel, one says AM4, and one says like TR4 or something like that. For the purposes of this video, I'm only concerned with the bag that says AM4. The AM4, okay, so this is the little bracket that I just took off. You saw how easy it comes off, and there's little studs that are sticking up, threaded studs. That's from the back plate. All right, and since this is still screwed in, these are still sticking up real good. There's not really any movement. So go into your AM4 bag, and you're gonna get these pieces out. There's just, I think there's 4 of them total. And you're gonna take these and you're gonna thread them into these holes. And I think they say to, I don't remember how they worded it. I think they said like the longer end or something like that. Truth be told, each end is about the same length. So that's not very good advice. This is what I did. The threading, if you look at this screw, if you look at that screw, the threading is different on each end. One is a finer thread than the other. All right. You got 2 screws you just took out of that bracket, right? You want the same threading for this. You want the end that's threaded exactly the same as this screw. So It's a little trick I learned as a technician a long time ago. You can put those two screws together. If you put the wrong threading together, they won't mesh at all. Put the right one together, boom, it's a perfect match. You found the end that needs to go in there. So take it and thread it. Alright, I'm just going to hand thread that one for right now. Do the same thing with your next one. Find the right one. That would be, that one won't mesh together, so that's the wrong one. And let me do this where you can see it. That's the right one, because it meshes together just perfect, like it was made for it. Alright, and then take that end and thread the other side end. So that's the top side. So I don't know if you see, it makes like a rectangular pattern, and the two closest together that the bracket we're attached to are the ones that we're doing. All right, so I hand tightened them, and then take my little tool. You can do this with a pair of pliers. Just just get a good grip on it when you turn it, and make sure you get it tight. Just tight enough to where this is my advice, because you don't want to strip anything, you don't want to strong arm it. He-Man tight is bad. He-Man tight is bad. All right. All we want is we want to make sure that we cannot turn these with our fingers. All right. I'm saying He-Man tight is bad. Like, He-Man tight is always bad unless you've got something that you absolutely do not ever want to come loose again. And in that case, you probably need to be investing in some red Loctite. Because that stuff, I think you got to take a torch or something to bust that stuff loose. Like if you're putting your kid's swing set together or something like that, you probably want to use that stuff. And yeah, over torque stuff, all that stuff is fine. Stuff that you want to take apart some other day, for whatever reason, don't over torque that stuff. You're just I have a theory about people that do, there are people that do that constantly, and I have a theory about those people, and I don't know, so far it's held up true, but you know, it's a theory. But my theory on people that over torque screws and nuts and everything is they are overcompensating for their for a lack of confidence in their technical abilities. Just saying. So if you know somebody that works on your stuff that does that, my advice is you might want to look for somebody else. Anyway, all right, now we got these in here. We're gonna do the bottom one. Take that left screw out. You see it just comes out. It's nothing special, regular Phillips head screw, all that good stuff. Now I will warn you, since these upper ones that we put in, they really just screw down to the top of that I don't know, that stud or whatever it is that sticks up from that back plate. They just screw down to the top of that, and the top of that is not flush with the motherboard. So you're going to get a little play in it now. So at this point, you may have to put your finger on the back side of that motherboard, back side of the on the back side of that back plate, and hold it in while you put your other screws in. Same thing. Figure out which end is the end that screws in there. didn't mention this before, but if you put the wrong end in there and it doesn't screw down, do not force it, because you will screw up something that you probably just spent a lot of money buying. You should never have to force stuff to work unless it's completely the wrong application and you're having to fabricate stuff and do some crazy stuff, which that does happen. But in this case, with this particular type of case, you don't have to do that. All right, so you can see, holding the back side, I had, see, you can see it jiggle a little bit. I got these double-ended screws on, and then just go back and give them a little twist. I will say, you really won't feel them stop. Like you won't, you know, when you're normally turning a screw in, you'll turn it until it just won't go anymore. You won't really feel that with these. I just go hand tight and then go a little bit more and then try to unscrew them with your fingers. And if you cannot make those budge with your fingers, you're good. You're all right, because what's going to be holding that water block down, where'd my little bag of hardware go? Here we go. Our thumb screws. These. So, you know, the mounting bracket on here is kind of a spring-loaded deal. You're going to torque them down with your fingers, so these don't have to be crazy tight, and you don't have to use it really any kind of Loctite. Just be reasonable. That's all I ask. Just be reasonable. Something that I like to do, because I like to, it's one of these things that's like a thing that's best practices that I guess technicians that have taught me things over the years. You always want to leave a path backwards in case something goes wrong. Let's say you get so far into this install and you find out that there's a defective part. I'm not saying that, I mean, I have the utmost respect, like Corsair is my absolute favorite. It's probably my absolute favorite PC parts brand. I started buying their memory many years ago, and it was always the best memory and good price. And I ended up on, I got a Corsair gaming mouse here. I got a Corsair keyboard. I got a wireless headset that Corsair, and it's all got RGB and all that stuff. So I'm not trying to knock on Corsair, don't get me wrong. I would never do that. But I mean, I'm sure Corsair has had, there's a certain percentage of faulty parts that are out there, and even from the best brands, you know, it's just like cars. Honda and Toyota probably make the best cars, the best quality cars in the world. And there's going to be a certain percentage of them that have some problems. It just can't be helped. I think I heard somewhere, machines are made by people, and people aren't. They're not perfect. So why should machines be? I mean, you know, we strive for perfection, but we don't always achieve it. All right. So AM4 bag. Best practices, going back to that. Take your stuff you just took off, throw it in that AM4 bag. That's what I would do. You got a little pouch here. That'd be a good place to throw those screws that just came out. Oh, and this one. I don't want to forget anything. Yeah, so keep your stuff. When I get done, I'm probably going to take this box and everything that's left over, because this cooler, from what I can see, it looks like it's probably going to be reusable for whatever my next setup is going to be. So I think it already supports AM5. I can't remember. I think I saw that somewhere. So yeah, the next thing I'm going to do is, since we got that done already, well, this is what I advise. Well, let's. Trying to decide. There is a. I'm sure you probably saw me pick this up a while ago. This little wire right here, I think it feeds tach counts for the pump. Reason why this is important is got to be plugged in. It's got to be plugged into your CPU fan 1 connector so that your PC will boot and not think that you have no CPU fan running when it does. So that's going to be important. The problem is that when you get this in here, it's kind of difficult to reach it. So I was thinking that, you know what, I might plug it in ahead of time. They don't tell you this, but the top side and the actual water block come apart. So it might be easier just to go ahead and plug this in. And this is where my CPU fan connector is. So I'm gonna plug it in there. There it is. All right. And then I'm just gonna let that sit down there for right now. All right, so we're gonna put this in there again. There it is, it's sitting in there. All right, and then you need to go into your little miscellaneous parts bag that came with your cooler and get, get these screws. It's hard to get it in focus, but yeah, get these screws. If you look, well, let me say this first. These filters were originally up here in the top. There's 2 of them. I don't see the other one. That's just one of them. There's 2 of these, and then there are fans that are mounted there. Take all that out before you do all this. But I'm sure if you've gotten this far, you've probably done that already. But you know, don't want to state the obvious for you guys, but I also don't want to lead you astray. I want to give you good information. So, all right, let's do this. All right, so what you'll find is you will be able to line up with the fan holes. The holes that the 120 millimeter fans mounted into previously are perfectly lined up on this 240 millimeter radiator. And you can just screw these screws right in. And that's what we're gonna do. You might be asking, why did I take the filters out? You are welcome to leave them in there if you want to. My thing is that this is an exhaust setup. So these fans, the way I've got them mounted in here, are pushing air straight up. I don't believe that that's going to be a good place to have filters. I think it's between the forcing the air through the radiator fins and then trying to get the air through those filters. I think that is a bad idea. Especially since you're also going to have trouble even getting it up here. So I would stick to the 240 in this with this case. I've had this PC tore apart since last night, and I'm ready to get it together and get it working and see what we got. So, all right. So what are we gonna do next? All right, let's mount the water block. How about that? All right. So this is what's kind of cool is this is the Intel mounts. Just slide them out, and you'll find that they'll only go in one way. They're kind of they don't really stay in if you try to put them in a different way. So I think it's this way. And I mean they're not screwed down or anything. They just, once you slide them in though, and then you bolt it up, it's not going anywhere. So I had to double check this last night, so I know this is the case, or at least was when I got this far. This is the orientation that it should be. So you can see I've got this in here, and I've got it sitting on the studs that we put in a little while ago. All right, I'm just gonna dump out this little miscellaneous parts bag, and oh, you know what? I almost made a big boo-boo. Guess what I forgot to do? I forgot to put thermal paste on it, so let's do that. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So, yeah, just swipe it on there good. I know I got cables hanging, so it's going to be best if I go ahead and mount that water block. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, don't want to get too heavy with this, just a light coating. There's some people that go as far as to take a credit card, some type of card from your wallet, and maybe smear it across there. Too much thermal paste can actually act as an insulator, because no matter how good it is, it's never going to be as good as metal on metal. I think thermal paste is better than it used to be though. So that should be pretty good. That's just a light coating that I put on there, real light. And I'm gonna put that thermal paste up. And now we're gonna mount this water block. And it's getting mounted and it's not coming back off. I am effectively, yeah, look at that, trying to slide away. We're gonna get this put on. All right. I'm just going to start with the top ones, and you will probably have to, while you're doing this, push on the back plate a little bit. It's best to take those little washers. There's little washers that come with this. Take those washers and put them over those little studs first before you put your thumb screws on. That's just going to make it to where everything makes, I hate when that happens. At least it didn't go anywhere though. Yeah, if you got anything, when you're dealing with thumb screws like this, it's much better to have washers under thumb screws because it makes them turn better. Crap, I think I just lost that one, but there are a bunch of them. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that right now. I'm just gonna grab another one. Keep on trucking. All right. In fact, we're going to get a little bit closer for this part because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing here. All right. And I'll try not to hit the camera. All right. So, all right, just hold the back of that. Hold the back of it while you're threading it. Just want to get it up over there. Oh, yeah, I'm a dummy. Let me get these out. I'm actually using the wrong ones because I've got those sitting out in front. I don't even know what those go to. It don't matter. All right, that's the right one. Make sure you're using the correct hardware, folks. That will shoot you in the foot too. All right, so you can see I got it threaded. All right, it's trying to come loose, but just get it back over them studs, all the holes. And grab your next one. And I would say in this situation, you might do better to pick one of the lower ones. Probably the one that is like directly across like that. And I'm doing this with the case standing up for the purposes of this video, but you might have an easier time with the case laying down doing this. Although, as you can see, it is definitely not impossible. So I got that one in, I got that one in. They're just pretty much kind of hand tight right now. You just want to do it a little bit because you're going to want to put even pressure on it. You don't want this lopsided, so you don't want to just like crank down on one side and then it'll get it like, it'll just get kind of off kilter, and that will cause you, you might get an air gap, and air is basically an insulator. It will defeat the whole purpose of what you're trying to do here. So what I would do here is, let's see, we installed that one and that one, so let's tighten that one a little bit just by hand, then go directly across, do the same thing, and then go over here, do the same thing, and then go down here, do the same thing. Let's keep tightening until we can't hand tighten anymore. We're not going to use tools on this. There's a reason that these are thumb screws. If they were meant to have tools on them, they would have been designed to use a tool. They're knurled to be used by hand. The reason why is because these pieces that the water block that are attached to the water block that we put on here, they're spring loaded. They act as a spring. So the more you tighten these down, the more spring pressure it's putting, basically like that. I don't know if that made any sense. So it's holding pressure on that water block, making sure it doesn't go anywhere. I did mess up though, and the top part right here, I accidentally unplugged it. Yeah, see, this is the stuff that happens while you're, you know, things don't go perfect sometimes, and that's okay. That's all right. Usually people that are in technical fields are doing tough jobs, and most of the time it's jobs that other people don't want to do. That's why they pay you to do it. You have knowledge that they don't have, or you are doing something difficult that they would rather not deal with. This is probably one of those situations where it would be easier to get that on here with this memory out of the way, but as you can see with this fan installed, that ain't happening. I could actually, oh no. I was thinking I could probably remove that fan, but it'd be a little bit of a pain to get these screws out, and taking those out, putting them back in, that would just be a pain in the butt. So I'm just going to take my handy little light. This is a great little light, by the way. Nebo Rebel. Yeah, it's great. It's rechargeable. Yeah, and it's got a head strap, so you can strap it on your head. You can work on your car, you can work on your computer, you can work on anything with this. I think it's got an 8-hour battery life. And I think it goes up to like 16 or something when you put it on the next lower setting. I usually just run it on the next lower setting, and I hardly ever have to recharge this thing. But it's great. And check this out, it's got a magnetic base. Yeah, so you can work with it like that too. It's got a the charger is USB, so if you got a laptop, you can just plug it into a laptop and recharge it if you need to, or any computer. You can plug it into your car. Most cars have USB charge ports now. You can see I did this last night, just like this. I actually did it twice because I accidentally unplugged it. I'm gonna put the headband on. This is gonna be way easier. All right, so although I don't know if this is gonna help me. All right. Yeah, the problem is that my fingers are just not quite. They're just a little bit too big, but I think I might have just got it. I think. Let's see. Got it. That's it. All right, so next thing you want to do, I might go ahead and bring those out. This little hole, there's a little hole. I can't really move the camera to see, but there's a little hole right above the motherboard right here. And I think I'm gonna route all these cables out there, out that hole. So, now, I just want to make sure I get them all. So you got two power connectors and 2 RGB connectors. So you want to make sure you get all of those. I think I'm going to do it like this. That way I can get, yeah, let's see if this works. No, that ain't working too well. I kind of wish I had a piece of string, because I'd probably pull it through there, but you know what? I'm going to improvise. Headphone cable. So I have some headphones I don't really use that often. I'm going to feed this through the back. And I'm going to tie this works. That's something I just thought up, so it may not work at all, but we shall see. We shall see. All right. That knot wants to come loose pretty easy. All right. Let's pull it. I don't know how well this is going to work. I'm trying to pull all those wires through all at the same time. It may not work too well, but we shall see. I've got I got a power wire I'm trying to get around here too. So is that still? Yeah, it's still attached. These are actually headphones. They're like my backup headphones. If I can't find my they're for my Quest 2. If I can't find my old Apple earbuds, I use these. Oh, got it. All right. Tricks of the trade. All right. So that's all the fan connectors for these guys here. And I don't know if I want to do something similar with this, because going up and then going back down, I don't think that's going to give me a lot of cable to work with, so I'm going to leave that alone. All right. Now I'm going to connect this guy. Let's see if I'm... Oh, it's upside down. Yeah. And that reminds me, I also want to route these cables. That's what got me started on that deal. Let me back up a little bit. But yeah, that's what got me started on this. The cables go into this. This is basically like power and data and all that stuff, and then there is a USB connection. I want to route those through that hole too. And it's a flat cable for the most part. So you want to make sure that you keep the orientation the same, because you're going to route it up through there and then you're going to bring it straight back down, and there's not much room when you get this thing mounted up. There's not much room to turn the cable through this hole. So you basically want to keep the cable oriented the same way when you feed it through there. And yeah. And then everything will line up real nice and pretty. All right, so in a minute you'll see what I mean. All right. So I just got the USB connector and the I'm trying to get this mounted up before I accidentally disconnect that guy again, because that's not fun, as you saw. I'm trying to get that reconnected. So there's a connector on the water block itself, and then you can see that's where it plugs in. So you just line it up and push down. It just kind of clicks on there, which is cool. It pops off real easy. There's a protective plastic that's there's an LCD screen that's up under this protective plastic. I'm gonna leave that protective plastic on there until I get this whole deal fully done, because I don't want that screen damaged. That screen by itself carries a bit of a premium versus the non-LCD screen version of this. So yeah, I'm definitely a little protective of that. All right. Yeah, I guess at this point, all the physical work is the actual physical routing and everything is done. Yeah, make sure that nothing is getting pulled too hard. That's probably good right there. And I don't know. I'm I might see if I can pull any of this up into here, simply because when I get this graphics card in here, the top of it is going to be right across there, and I don't know if I want these lines resting on it. I also don't want to cause these lines to, I don't want to cause any problems with them either, to where they might get damaged. So I might, you know what, I might just leave them just as they are. I think it'll be fun. That'll be all right. Just like that. I do have some case cables that I'm not using, and I'm going to deal with those. I got these Velcro things that I actually like these better. You know, I use wire ties whenever I can, but this is that roll I'm talking about. And you can buy them at the hardware store from anywhere from like several bucks to like a dozen bucks. Yeah, so that's it. It's basically Velcro. It's got a soft side, and then it's got the side with all the little mini hooks. Yeah, and I'm just gonna, yeah, apologize for, I probably sound a little nasally. I've been sounding a lot like that lately. I just got over a nasty cold. It seems like everybody's got that cold right now. Yeah, so you just, I don't think it really matters which way you put this, because one side is going to attach to the other. Just feed it through there, pull it tight. This is what I like about it, is you don't have to cut it off or anything. You just wrap it around, and boom, it's out the way. It's pretty, it's nice. Done. I love that. Yeah, these are great. Only thing I don't like though, I don't know if it was just the store I went to, but it was actually Home Depot. You have to buy, you can't get just a black roll, you got to get a silver roll too. If I could, I would just buy the black roll. They probably do that on purpose because they sell more of one or the other, so they just make you buy both of them so they can keep both machines rolling the same amount or something like that. All right. All right. Things have progressed a little bit since I kind of stopped the video. If you look, I've got everything installed now. Everything physically was pretty much installed. I just had to run cables for the most part and tidy things up. So yeah, this is, if you look at this, my handy dandy Nebo Rebel. Yeah, let's see. This is one of the cleanest, tidiest builds I have ever done. So I'm really hoping, I have not powered this up yet. So I'm really hoping that this runs, that there's no issues. The fan controller, the one that came with the water cooler set, is right here. I've actually, I had some little pieces of Velcro that I actually bought these to mount a Roku on top of a TV. Velcro's handy for all kinds of stuff. So I just Velcroed the sucker to the bottom deck there, right up under a SATA controller. Yeah, so what do you think? Time to boot it up and try it out. Fingers crossed. Let there be power. And, well, I think there's LEDs that light up. I think I just got them all covered mostly by this crazy, gigantic graphics card. Yeah. That's good. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh. It's alive. And it's quiet. I got the side panel off and you can hardly hear it. Well, I spoke too soon. Oh, what's going on there? I ain't happy. I wonder why. All the fans are spinning. Every fan's spinning in this system, but the oh, it's booting. See what happens. It's trying to tell me that fans aren't running, but fans are running. Booting into Windows. Maybe it just needs to boot up one time. We'll see. Yeah, it's logging in. Setting up Corsair IQ Commander Core. Maybe that's the one. It might be angry for no reason. So I've already got IQ set up because I've got the Corsair keyboard and mouse and headset and all that good stuff. So as soon as it picks up everything, and that's interesting. Yeah, I booted up Ubuntu on this machine, and it seems like now when I reboot it, it wants to change the time, and I think there's a registry entry I gotta change or something here. Setting up LCD cap for Elite Capital X coolers. So hoping that'll make that happy. I guess we're getting ready to see. Everything's connected, so I don't know why it's. It must be the communication. It's got to be. Oh, we'll pull up IQ and see what it's saying. Pump failure. Please contact support. Well, it wants the firmware updated, so Okay, it's updating the firmware, so we'll see if firmware update corrects this. I got a feeling it's something like that because the system's running. Nothing's failing unless it's. I mean, it's. Oh, look at that. It's happy. It's running. That's what it was. No. Just do that. That was happy. I don't understand what's going on. Let's do a restart. Liquid temp, 26 Celsius. I mean, the system is not running slower, so it's not thermal throttling. It doesn't seem to be. If I get more errors, I'll have to check. I don't know if that red light is meaning there's an error or that's, you know what? Let me fix this time. Oh, it just corrected it. Okay. Let's open IQ and see what's going on. There, pump failure. Just keep saying pump failure. I don't understand. Well, let's see what else is going on. Oh, I mean, nothing's overheating, but it might be thermal throttling for all I know. Alright, let's see what speed fan is doing. CPU. Oh, I know. How about the AMD Ryzen Master utility? Let's see what that's doing. See what clock speed it's running at and all that good stuff. shut down, and I'm gonna reseat that sucker. Might be something as simple as that. Fingers crossed, right? All right, so as you can see, it's now working fine. You know why it's working fine? Ended up diving into the Corsair website and looked up the error, and it said the first thing it said to try was to reseat the connector from the pump head to the fan controller. Basically the control. It's basically the controller for the whole system. So I pulled it. I pulled the drive out from on top of it and reached around, and it did feel a little bit loose. So I pushed it in with it powered off, and then powered it back up. Everything's working fine. So, which makes sense because I checked CPU ID before I did all that, and it was showing it was running like 3,800 megahertz. So it was not overheating. Everything seemed like it was fine. So it was a detection issue. It seems like it is nice and happy now. So mission accomplished. I got a nice healthy running system, it appears, and